I took some time this week and last week, and I sort of built up the blog that we have. So this site, it's digitalmethodblog.com, and it has all the stuff that we're talking about, but in sort of text form, so that people can go back and find more information. So I wrote a little bit about the last week's workshops, but then these tabs up here show the schedule for the workshop if it'll load. So there's a workshop schedule.
Okay.
And then each of the tools is on the tools page. So there's a little bit of video tutorial for some of them. So you can follow those links, read a little bit about each one.
So is this is where for me to get this blog.
Yeah, so you just have to type
there?
in the link, type in the URL, and you can access it there.
Okay. And then, like digitalmethodblog.com, is that what I'm?
Yeah.
Because this will be, kind of remind me when I go to try to do these things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's why we set it up, was just to provide resources for people outside of the workshops. Because obviously there's a lot of people who can't attend. And so we thought, well, we'll put everything up and hopefully people find that useful as well.
Well, also people who do attend forget.
that also.
The,
Oh, that's weird. Oh, it was just the dot. This extra period is not. That's why it's getting confused.
There's an extra period in mind?
Yeah.
Oh, sure.
If you just search it in Google, it should come up. Digital Method Blog. Yep, so it's that first one right there.
Okay.
Yeah, so if you add that to your favorites or put it into, you could even put it into Evernote if you thought that would be helpful.
Oh, well, I'll put it in my favorites. Digital blog.
So I just thought I'd show you that.
Okay.
This one to follow up. So I'm going to play this video, and then we'll go through it sort of step by step, because it might be a little bit. It's not it's fairly straightforward, but it will take a bit of practice to get used to using it.
I know Mike Peter used this for his MA class.
Yeah,
Did you use it?
Mike was really interested in the program. He likes it. He and I had a few conversations about that. So I'll play this, and then we can set it up.
Okay.
For that at Brock University. Zotero is a citation management system that allows you to collect, edit, and export citations into word processing programs. To begin using Zotero, visit zotero.org and download either the Firefox add-on or the standalone beta. Both function in the same way. You will need to register for Zotero to make use of all the features. Once you have downloaded Zotero and signed up, you can access Zotero in your browser by clicking the icon at the bottom right. The Zotero program will appear at the bottom of your screen. On the left is a list of the library and the collections within it. The middle shows individual items, and the right panel shows citation information. To add an item to Zotero, there are a few options. First, check the address bar for a small icon that means the website has provided the citation information. If it shows, clicking it will automatically add the item to your current library. If the icon is not there, but you have the ISBN of your item, you can use the magic identifier by pasting the code. The item should be added automatically. If the item does not have an icon in the address bar or an ISBN number, you can use the button to create an item from the current page. The program will then find as much information as it can, and you can edit the information in the right side panel. If the item does not exist on the internet, such as an interview you have conducted, you can add the item yourself by choosing the type from the drop-down menu and inputting the information manually. Because Zotero indexes new items, you can search your library for terms. Additionally, you can add keywords and notes to the items to make them more useful. Zotero allows you to export citations to word processors and formats the citation for you. Simply drag and drop the item to create an in-text citation. If you are using Word, there exists a plugin that will allow you to use a quick button to insert the citation. The plugin can be found by going to Zotero Preferences, the Site tab, and then downloading the plugin. To use the Word plugin, click the Import Citation button, choose the collection from the left, pick the item on the right, type in the page numbers, and click OK. The citation will be added as a footnote in the Word document. Once you have finished inserting all the citations in Word, simply click the Import Bibliography button. All the sources used in your paper will be added and formatted automatically. To choose the citation format, go to Zotero Preferences and the Export tab, where you can pick the style that it uses. To use Zotero with Scrivener, make sure to choose the output format that does not include a bibliography. Create a footnote in Scrivener and drag the item from Zotero. When you have finished the document, change the output format to include the bibliography and drag all your sources into the main body of the text. Zotero automatically formats the citations depending on which option you choose for exporting citations. As mentioned before, the Zotero standalone functions exactly like the Firefox version, but can be linked to other browsers as well. This concludes our brief tutorial on using Zotero.
Okay, so that's a lot to take in, obviously.
Well,
And really that tutorial was to help people who are already trying to use it,
yeah.
but are just trying to figure out, what it can
Yeah.
do. So what I'll show you is the very basic use of Zotero. So this is, when I was saying on the video, the standalone, that means it's a program of its own.
Mm-hmm.
But you can also get it, if you use Firefox, you can get it as a plugin. Either one, they both work the exact same. So on this left side here are all the folders that I have for the different classes. So I had a class on gender and nationalism, and so I have, I have Joan Scott in
Right.
there, and then I have Gazella Bach, because obviously they write about gender. And then for my paper, I collected all of these sources, but separated them out.
You did it on dueling, did you?
Yeah, I did it on masculinity and dueling.
You got Carol's, what era did you do that on? Almost.
Sort of, I focused on the sort of fall of dueling and what effect that had on masculinity and male behavior.
Okay.
Because there's been lots written about dueling prior to its fall,
Right.
but not so much on what the effect was of no longer having it as an option.
I see, okay, well, interesting.
I don't know yet
Yeah.
what mark I got, so I'll
Oh, I
let
see.
you know. So when you're collecting sources, it's pretty straightforward. So if you're in your browser, you
Should I, okay,
Well,
I'll follow what you're saying.
can, yeah, I'll
Okay,
show you
Yeah,
how it works, and then
yeah, okay,
we can set up yours.
okay.
So, let's say we can pick literally anything.
So you have files by topic is what we're
Yeah, and
Okay, and then you put in there bibliographic references.
so the,
Oh, this could be good.
the
Yeah.
beauty of this is that, so even though I haven't actually logged into JSTOR,
Right.
it's providing up here, you can see this little button, it says save to Zotero.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And so once you have the plugin installed, it's kind of like this one, which is the Evernote one.
Yeah.
But this one is smaller. But when you click that, it saves the item. Down here it says saving item.
Okay, fine.
And so if you have the plugin installed and the standalone, it'll bring this back up. So there's the article there. It shows up. So it says it's a journal article. There's the title, the author, the publication, and so on. JSTOR is pretty good most of the time, but if they got that wrong for some reason, let's see, what is a plus? That's weird. If they got this wrong, I could click and I could change it if they happen to put it in incorrectly.
Okay.
Authors' names are really tough sometimes because they don't always distinguish between capitals or middle names and first names and last names. Sometimes they just get put in wrong. So you can always change those as well. And then there's lots of different types. So under the item type, you can have a blog post, you can have a book section, all sorts of different types of items. And each one will come with a slightly different format for this part. So if I go to Billiqua was a book, but it was translated, so you have an option to put in who the translator was. And then it asks you the title rather than the journal
Right.
publication title.
Right. I have a program, EndNote. I don't know if you've ever heard of it, but it has
Yeah.
this part of it is similar to EndNote.
Yeah,
Just
EndNote
yeah,
and
yeah.
Zotero are very similar.
Oh,
One of the main differences is that Zotero is free, and that it links in with a lot of different programs. So if you use Word to write,
yeah.
to type in, there's a easy way to use Zotero citations in Word.
Right. Well, that would be very helpful.
So you can just
Yeah.
click and add them. In fact, I don't know if I have it on this computer. I think this computer doesn't have Microsoft on it. Yeah, it definitely. Oh, maybe it does. No, it doesn't. But yeah, as you saw with the video, there is
Yeah.
a way to link it in, and we can set that up where all you have to do is click the insert citation.
Yeah.
It'll ask you which one you want,
Yeah.
and then you can put the page number, and it'll format it for you.
Yeah.
And so that's the real benefit. I
Well,
mean,
that would be great.
EndNote does a similar process.
Yeah.
But with Zotero, one of the best things is that if you click and drag, it puts it there for you.
Yeah.
So that is rather convenient.
Oh, well, you also have reduced this number of errors. Does that
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, sometimes it will be a little bit off, but generally it's pretty straightforward. And if I wanted to use a different type of citation, you can change that as well. So
Just ask you for what, MLA, Chicago and stuff?
yeah,
okay.
exactly. So if
Yeah.
I want MLA, I set it at that, and then I don't think they're actually significantly different. Slightly different. See how it says print there? I think that's the only difference now. And translated is abbreviated. So even things that I wouldn't have remembered between the
Yeah.
two,
Yeah.
it knows the difference.
Yeah.
It also automatically double spaced. I like that. I've never actually tested out the differences.
Yeah.
So it's very intuitive, and it's very much like Evernote in the sense that it keeps track of everything. But for this specifically, it's articles, books, research
Yeah.
material.
Yeah.
But of course, if you do videos, this was a video on YouTube of Duel in 1967, and so video recording, and it puts the URL here so that you can always click it and go to the video.
Oh.
So I mean, there's that benefit as well, is that if it is online, if the resource is online, it'll
Yeah.
always link back to it, so you
Yeah.
don't necessarily have to, you don't have to use two different programs. You can
Right.
use Zotero and always know that you can find it again.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh. Because I mean, I would use a lot, I'm starting to write some long sections. So I would be able to use for, like, look to me from what you're saying, I can just find it. You essentially, you never enter those, you're getting those directly from, like, your sources, for instance.
Yeah. But if
Yeah.
the source doesn't exist, there
Yeah.
are all sorts of options. So let's say you find a book in the library that's so old that it's not online anywhere.
Right,
You can create a new item yourself and input all the information yourself.
right,
Or if you find one that isn't on a site but you have the ISBN number,
right.
you can put the ISBN number in and then it will find the book for you, if it can.
Yeah,
So if that's,
and it's just searching the whole web?
yeah, it searches a bunch of different catalogs. So it'll search Google and WorldCat and the Library of Congress. It'll search everywhere to see if it can find that.
Right,
And if it can't, then that's probably because it's really old. And then
yeah.
you'd have to enter the information
Right.
yourself.
I have a great big huge bibliography in EndNote. Could I load it into this?
I don't know if it has that capability. It might.
Maybe we can deal with that. I
Yeah,
ask
we
about
can-
that
we
next
can
week or something.
experiment.
Yeah, or something, but
But
I'll keep you on, yeah,
Yeah.
because I do have, I had that for a book I did, and it was great in the sense that it formatted all the notes from the video. It was
Mhm.
only for the bibliography though.
mhm,
I basically, when it came to putting the
the footnotes.
notes in, I typed them in,
Mhm.
and I want to avoid that this time. I wanted, you know, so,
Well, once you have it installed, there's, what I use now is a particular function. It's this button here where it says RTF scan. Essentially what you can do is when you get to this, when you put in your citation, rather than typing out everything, or even clicking buttons, you put in brackets the author's last name, the year of the book, and the page number. And then you just close it, right? It's very quick, it's easy. And then when you're completely finished, you use this function in Zotero and it will find all those brackets and replace them with the appropriate citation automatically. So you don't have to interrupt your workflow by clicking a button and actually
Right.
going through the process. You can just
Yeah.
remember
What do you-
so-and-so and then
Author's name, what did you put in author's name, did you say?
the author's last name, the year of publication,
Yeah.
and then the page number that you're
Right,
working with.
right.
So that way you don't have to remember, as all the information when you type it out, obviously.
Right,
But you also don't have to go through the process of clicking the citation itself and
yeah,
doing all of that. You can just type it really quickly
yeah,
and be done with it, and then it gets
I'll
done
do it.
all at once at the end.
that's called RTF scan.
Yeah, so it uses, the RTF is for rich text format,
Yeah,
just the
yeah.
basic text. So I can show you how that works as well. I find it really useful because I write with Scrivener, which we have, we have a workshop on Scrivener later. And Scrivener doesn't have a plugin for Zotero. So you have to put in the citations yourself, but using this method, I don't actually have to write them out. I just remember the name, the year, and put in whichever page I'm citing. And then I let the program do all the work after the fact.
Yeah.
So there are lots of different ways to use it. I mean, the way that I used to do it was just always have it open and then drag over every citation I needed, which
Yeah,
is pretty easy.
yeah,
Now I've just switched because it's a better flow. It doesn't distract me as much going and trying to find the citation. I just put, the person's
Right.
name and then be done with it. So we can get it set up on your computer
Okay.
and start
Yeah.